I watched the Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. I got this free poster at work. To be honest, I wouldn't have seen this movie. Except someone in my household is a big Mel Brooks fan, and I get free tickets at a movie theater that I work at. So I went and I said, to heck with it, I'll go check this movie out. And I was hearing some interesting things about this movie. Not that necessarily it was good, but I'm saying interesting things. So let's kind of talk about this movie, because this is a really interesting movie, and not in the way you would expect. So this is a movie that is a movie that is a remake of a rated R 70s movie that by most people's standards today is not politically correct in the slightest. And that movie is Blazing Saddles, right? And this is a great movie. Now, when I say it's not politically correct, I'm not saying that this movie isn't good and you shouldn't watch it. This is a fantastic movie. It's one of the best comedies of all time. Everybody should go watch this. And I can understand if you're offended by it, but you need to understand that the movie is actually making fun of and parodying racism, right? This is something that they actually very overtly kind of say in the movie, that this movie is also doing a similar thing. So this was an interesting movie because on the one hand, I kind of enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to lie. But on the other hand, I kind of hated this movie. And let me explain. There are two sides to this movie. There's the side of this movie that is generic family movie garbage, right? Stuff like The Minions, right? Which is also playing in theaters right now. Where they'll have a scene where people will fart. And that will be the joke. They fart. Ha ha ha. You know, that kind of lazy, low tier, low effort humor that kids eat the damn shit up. You know? So there's that, right? And then there's the other half of this movie, which is a Mel Brooks comedy that is self-aware and makes jokes about its story and things like that, points out things. So like in this movie, they actually point out there's fourth wall breaks about the runtime of the movie being 85 minutes. And that's really funny. That's like a thing in this movie, that they're pointing out the runtime of their own movie. There's a point where they do flashbacks and they talk about film reels. There's one part, there's also movie references in this movie. There's a flashback with the dog, and they play like da-da-da-da-do, da-da-da-da-do, dum-dum-dum. If you know that, that is the Jets theme and instrumental in West Side Story. There's that in this movie. There's like one point where the villain has like a Godzilla roar, like the actual Godzilla roar, like the classic. Ah! I can't do it obviously, but you know, there's the Godzilla roar in this movie. So there's like those jokes made me laugh, and they're not like little laughs like chuckles. These were laugh out loud moments for me, but there's the other half of this movie that just brings the whole thing down. We're talking scenes where they play pop songs that just don't fit the theme and the tone of this movie at all. And they're just awkward and annoying. And you could just feel like a studio coming in and putting that in there. It just like, I don't know. And that's the unfortunate thing about this movie. I think this is a movie that families going to see this won't hate themselves, but like the kids will enjoy it. But I feel like a parent is gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I would like something better. You know, there are better kids movies to go see with your kids than Paws of Fury. Like Lightyear's still playing in theaters, so there you go, better kids movie, and you'll get something out of it, and the kids will get something out of it. But this is just like unfortunate because I don't know. I feel like they could have played into the parodying of stuff. In fact, they could have parodied like kids movies, and this is kind of an unconventional kids movie, so maybe do that. I don't know, but they just kind of like did nothing, and it was just like I don't even know who this movie was made for or what the point of it was, because I watched a review for this movie where they're like, this is a kids movie and not a family movie, meaning that this movie's more geared for kids than adults. And I'm like, but is that really true? Because there's so many like adult jokes in this movie. There's references to NWA in this movie and things like, there's interesting jokes that kids wouldn't understand nor get. I don't know. I don't know what this movie was. I'm glad I saw it, but I'm also like, what the hell was this movie? And why does it exist?